Greetings and salutations, everyone, and welcome to Episode 10 of the Blanket Fort Studio. So, greetings. Welcome back to the Blanket Fort Studio. It's been 7 months since I've posted any videos, and I truly do apologize for that. So what's been going on? Well, first of all, I was trying to sell my house, and then there was the pandemic, and still is the pandemic. And then I moved my family 1,000 miles across country after selling my house, and I just recently got everything set back up so that I can, do my job, voiceover, and everything else that I need to do, plus setting up my new house and everything else. So there was a lot going on. So I do apologize for the delay in posting new content. It's just been a while. So welcome back, and I'm glad you're here. Since I left last time, we got over 100 subscribers, which is really great. I appreciate it. Thousands of views on the videos. Also appreciate that. A lot of people still commenting about the Stellar X2. A lot of people commenting about, oh, you've got booth resonance. And I think there are some people from Stellar X trying to make comments and talk about my booth and stuff. Guys, cut it out. The Tech Zone people need to just back up. That's all I'm saying. I'm not looking for a sponsorship from you. I'm not looking for a sponsorship from anybody. So if that's what you think I'm doing here, you're wrong. I'm actually doing honest reviews. And so if you're from one of these companies that doesn't like my review, I don't care. And I can find you usually by looking at your YouTube page and seeing that you don't produce anything, or that all you're doing is just subscribing to like 2 or 3 channels, all of which are doing reviews of your product. All right, moving along, now that I've gotten on my soapbox. So like I said, it's been a few months, and I do apologize for that, but I do appreciate everybody who is actually subscribing and actually leaving comments. I'm trying to answer each and every one of you as we go. So why are we here today? Today, we're going to take a look at a new piece of gear that I afforded myself. It was kind of a splurge purchase, hey, congratulations for doing such a good job this year. Here's a new piece of gear. Because we all know that, all of us, really, did we get into this for the fun of voiceover? You bet. But we also got in it for the gear. And we all like to buy ourselves something nice every once in a while, something pretty, something shiny. And that's what I've done. So this time, we're going to talk about the Apollo Twin X, Universal Audio's interface, the Apollo Twin X. And lordy, is she pretty. But is she worth $1,400? That's the question. We've talked before about my primary interface being a Focusrite Solo, which is a $105 interface and has done plenty to get me through the last year in voiceover. So, what about the Apollo Twin X? How's it doing? Have I gotten any jobs? Is it making me richer? Let's talk about the Apollo Twin X. This down here is the Apollo Twin X, and it is a fancy piece of gear. It's got all kinds of fun buttons and all sorts of things where you can just, volume control and all kinds of things. We're going to go through each one of the functions on this device. We're going to talk about the software that it runs on and just a couple of the fun things that you can do with it. And then we're going to talk about whether or not that $1,300 price tag is something you really want to pay for this interface. So let's move along. Let's take a look. All right, so on the Apollo Twin X, you'll notice that there's a whole series of buttons down here and one big dial in the front. Let's talk about the dial first, okay? The dial is your main control surface, okay? This dial controls everything from volume of the mic. Here's the volume on the mic. From the volume on the mic, and if you press this monitor button, you can go into the monitors, which there are no monitors connected to this. There's only the headphones. I don't have any monitors plugged into the back. You can also go from monitor to headphone control, and I can turn my headphones all the way down, or I can turn my headphones all the way up, and they get really, really loud in my ears. And we keep it about there. Then, along the bottom, we've got all these fun little buttons, and they do a whole lot of things. So first, you've got input control, which changes your input from channel 1 to channel 2, which would be where the other mic goes. So if I push my microphone, but if I push that button again, you can see where I'm coming from. This second button is a low-pass filter, and if you listen really closely, and I'll try to get in front of the mic for this, and let me kind of adjust my microphone. If you hear me knocking my microphone around, you can complain later. So if I move the microphone around and I hit this low-pass filter, you can hear the deep tones of my voice coming through the microphone, but once I hit the high-pass filter, or the low-pass filter, you can see that it's filtering out some of those lower bass tones. It's really kind of a cool little device. We've also got phantom power, 48-volt phantom power for the plus or minus 48-volt phantom power for my microphone. There's this pad control, which I'm not really sure what pad control does. This is really cool. This is a polarity. This changes the polarity of the microphones. So if you've got two microphones and they're not quite sounding right, you can hit this button and it'll completely change how your microphone sounds. Is that not weird? And then you've got this link button, which helps you link up this device to other devices. And let's go ahead and hit the next set of controls here. Preamp. So then, if we click, let's see. Oh, okay. Let's get. I'm not sure how to get out of this. All of a sudden, this isn't working the way it's supposed to. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. All right. So down here now, if we switch over, let me go back here. Hit this now. Okay, let's go back here. And now if we hit this monitor button again, you can see that we've got a talk button. And this talk button is actually, if you've got somebody in the booth and you're outside the booth controlling this, you can use this, and right here under the dial is this little microphone. And you can talk to the person in the booth. They can hear you through your headphones, and they can talk back to you through the microphone. There's a dim switch, mono, and then there's this mute button. Mute, which mutes sound through your headphones. So it mutes the monitor sound, actually, out of the booth. My bad. On the Apollo Twin, the actual device itself, if you look really closely, you've got two XLR and balanced inputs. You've got, these are the monitor outputs right here, and these two in line right here are line out outputs. There's also a SPDIF and a power switch here because the unit itself is a powered unit. And here is your DC power below the Thunderbolt cable. Here's my biggest gripe, first of all, speaking of the Thunderbolt cable. Now, hold on, let me finish the tour here and we'll get back to that. On the front, you can't really see it, but there is a low Z plug for a guitar, so you can plug your instrument directly into the Apollo Twin, and then you've got the headphone jack on the front end. Now, let's talk about my biggest gripe about this piece of equipment. My biggest gripe with the Apollo Twin X, for all of its uber cool features and neat little buttons here, that some of which I will admit to you, I have no idea what they do. My biggest gripe is I ordered this thing, I opened the box, and lo and behold, there was no Thunderbolt cable inside. Not a single Thunderbolt cable. Nothing to hook the computer up to the device. You would think, for the kind of money that you're spending on something like this, that they'd at least include the ability to connect it to your computer. But no, yeah, I had to go on to Amazon and get get a nice Thunderbolt cable shipped out to me so that I could actually hook the damn thing up. Pardon my language. If you don't like foul language, this is not the place for you to be anyway. Because I will slip up. Anyway, moving right along. So that was a gripe right off the bat. Next, let's talk about the software. One of the things that you have to do when you get this software, when you get this device, is you've got to install the console software. And let's go to the screen and I'll show you the console software. This is the console software right here. And as you can see, my low-pass filter's on, and my 48-volt power is on. And so you've got all kinds of stuff. You've got various sends. You can mute the channel. You can solo the channel. There's all kinds of good stuff you can do. And there's you can rename the board locations. And as you can see, there are 5 separate channels here available to you. There's a SPDIF channel, and there's a couple of virtual ins and outs. Here, you've got inserts, and let's talk about inserts. Now, the Apollo Twin comes with certain plugins, and there are hundreds and hundreds of plugins for the Apollo Twin. As you can see, all of them are referenced right here. The problem is that while all of these are referenced, none of them are, or hardly any of them are available. There are a few that are available. There is, for instance, for sure, let's talk about the RealVerb Pro. Yeah, hear it? That's the RealVerb Pro. I just added that as an insert in my channel, and you can hear it echoing through my Audition, through Adobe Audition. And you can adjust the settings. You can kind of say, okay, we don't need it that deep, and we can kind of, let's bring it back just a little. And then you can change the kind of echo we're talking about. So here's a corridor, and here's a horseshoe, and here's a spiral flare or a square, and a rectangular plane, a triangular plane. And you can do all of this, and you can change how much, what material's being used. So this is what dirt sounds like. Boom, 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 boom. And this is what wood sounds like. Ooh, ever wondered what wood sounds like? That's what it sounds like. So there are various plugins that you can throw right in, and the fun thing is that the reverb processing is being done on the Apollo Twin, not through the computer. So all the processing is being done back in the device, not on your computer. So this is real-time monitoring you're hearing right now. This is real-time. It's going straight into the Audition. It's going straight into Audition, and this is how it's coming out on the other side. Let's go ahead and get rid of this reverb here. There are about 9 plugins. There's a couple for guitar. There's a bass amp that comes with it and a Marshall amplifier that comes with it. So, if you've got some Gibsons laying around, you've got your Marshall and your Gibson right there. Wow, rock and roll, man. It's got a lot of fancy stuff on it. It's also sworn by, apparently this is like the go-to audio interface for many voiceover artists. I understand why. It's very nice. It's very fancy. It's built like a tank. I mean, you feel like you could it's heavy. It's metal. You feel like you could pick it up and throw it across the room and nothing would happen to it, Would you want to do that? A $1,400 piece of equipment? Are you crazy? Now, question. Is it making my audio any better? Is it great? I think it sounds pretty good, and I think it's darn quiet. I think it's even more quiet than my Focusrite, and my Focusrite is pretty darn quiet. But of course, I could just be ascribing my own personal biases to this thing because it costs so much, and I want it to sound better. I don't know. You can go back and watch my other videos, and you can tell me, because I'm using the same mic in most of them. I think it's very nice, and I'm keeping it. I know that's, that's not exactly the best way to judge whether or not I'm going to use it or not. But I am using it right now, and I am using it for an audiobook, and I am trying to do auditions with the Apollo Twin X. Am I getting any more auditions? Am I winning any more auditions? Not that I can tell. Not that I can tell. It isn't making my business any more successful. Will it make me look more professional when I put it up on my website? Yeah, probably. Universal Audio has a great reputation. So, the prestige factor is there, I'm sure. Is it a better audio interface? I don't know. I can tell you I haven't made any money with it. And that really is the measure of a piece of gear for me. Have I made any money with it? I've made money with the Rode NT1. It's a good piece of gear. I've made money with the Sennheiser MKH416 microphone. It's a good piece of gear. I've made money with the Whisper Room sound booth. It's a great piece of gear. Will I make any money with the Apollo Twin? Time will tell. Just depends. Ultimately, it's not just about the money, it's about the sound. And Universal Audio has a great reputation for sound, so we'll see if this does the trick or helps in any way, shape, or form. Is it better than the Focusrite? Does it sound better than the Focusrite? I can't really tell. And I've listened to my old recordings and I've listened to my new recordings, and I think they sound pretty good. I think it's a lot easier to maintain levels on this because I can actually see my levels on the digital dials. And I can see over here under my channel that I'm hitting, just right around -9, which is where you want to be. So it's helpful. But it remains to be seen if this is going to make me any more successful. A great microphone, you can tell the difference. You can absolutely tell the difference in a great microphone. In a great audio interface, I think this sounds as good as my Focusrite. I really do. I think it's a great contender with Focusrite, and the internet agrees with me. Is the Focusrite a damn good piece of equipment for $120? Yes. Is this a damn good piece of equipment for $1,300? Yes. Is it worth $1,300? I don't know. We'll see. I don't know if this has helped you in any way, shape, or form, but maybe it did. Maybe it'll save you $1,200 when you go to buy an interface. Maybe you'll look at it and go, man, that's really neato, and I want that, and go out and spend $1,400. I don't know. I'm not going to make that decision for you, folks. You guys can make the decisions on your own. I've seen your comments on my page. In the meantime. So, what are we going to talk about next time? Well, in episode 11, we're going to talk about pay-to-play websites. And we're going to talk about voiceover websites in general. And what my opinions are, I'm actually going to give you my opinion next time. What my opinions are on various websites, including Voices, Voice123, Voice Bunny, and VO Planet. These are all websites that I currently own memberships to. And I'm going to tell you which ones I've made the best amount of money off of, and which ones I think are quality websites, and which ones maybe not, and why I think having a membership to any one of these websites is absolutely useful to your career. In the meantime, I have been Chris Baitons all day long. Thank you for coming, and I'll see you next time on the Blanket Fort Studio.